Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope everyone's doing well. So today we're going to talk about my first 3 months at uni. Yes, 3 months. Where's it gone? I can't tell you, but I thought it'd be good to give a breakdown of what I've been up to, what I've learned, different things that they've given to us and how we've gone through things. I am now on placement at the moment, which is just going amazing, guys. I can't wait to tell you guys about it, but I'm going to do that in another video. But yeah, today we're just going to talk about like sort of the theory side, my first few weeks of theory or months of theory, and what's happened and what I've learned. But yeah, let's get into it. Week 1 of uni was just pretty much standard induction, making sure you've registered, making sure they have your details correct, getting your ID badge. We had a nice tour of the uni, so they're just like telling us all the perks of the uni. We got to meet our lecturers, some of them. We got to meet our personal tutor and have some sessions with our course mates as well. Obviously got to meet my course mates, to get your group chat set up. So it's just sort of that let's start uni, let's start the process, get to know each other sort of vibe. One important thing though, especially for midwifery and other healthcare degrees, is getting your DBS sorted. So they would have sent you that information. I don't know how other unis, but my uni sent that information literally just before we started uni, so we had to send our stuff off. So just make sure you do it as soon as they send it to you, because DBSs can take a while to come through, and without a DBS you can't go into placement. So just make sure that you get that sorted ASAP as soon as you start. So yeah, we got our DBSs sorted, name badges, all the good stuff, some icebreakers to get to know our course mates, and just like getting ready to start the year together on a good note, and just telling us what to expect and things like that, which was really nice and welcoming. So yeah, that was week 1. As part of our sort of starter pack for uni, we got some free stuff. We got like a tote bag, a mug, and some other free stuff. One important free thing that I want to show you is this book. So this is called Physiology in Childbearing, and if you don't have it for your midwifery degree, I suggest that if they don't give it to you for free, that you get this book, because it literally is like, apart from Miles being your midwifery Bible, this is like another Bible. It's like really good for breaking down all the physiology and the anatomy as well. So I would encourage you guys to get that book if you haven't got it. So going into week 2, we started to get into our modules for the semester. One of the modules was personal health and well-being, which I have spoken about in one of my other videos about self-care. So go and watch that if you haven't already. But yeah, so we started to learn about how to look after yourself as a student midwife, because as we've said, that this degree is intense. So just starting off on a good note, building good habits that will help you to alleviate stress. And we had a session on mindfulness, so we had people come in and teach us about mindfulness, which was quite nice. And we did some mindfulness in this session as well, so it was all pretty relaxed. Workload wasn't getting too much, it was just still, we're introducing you, we're easing you in sort of vibe. We got into the anatomy and physiology as well, so just like introductions into what we'll be learning about that. We did get set our first 2 assignments, so it was a bit like, ooh, it's starting. But they weren't due until a few weeks later, or even a month later. So yeah, we started getting work handed to us, and we had a few group presentations to start to prepare for. So towards the end of the second week, I'd say that's when they started to say, here's your workload, we wanted to ease you in, but it's coming now. So yeah, we started to get different assignments and things. The group work wasn't graded, which was nice, so it was just to get to know each other and to get used to speaking in front of the class, because at my uni they encourage that a lot. And to be honest, it's good skills for midwifery as well, because things like handover, things like, talking to patients' families and stuff, it's good to learn how to communicate in front of a big or small audience. At week 3, we were really into like group presentations and group work and the anatomy and physiology. We did an awesome session on the placenta. The placenta is such an interesting organ. Like, it's so crazy how our body makes this organ just for the period of pregnancy, and then it leaves your body. It's just amazing. Yeah, so we did the placenta, and I have actually seen a placenta now, which is an experience. The placenta is a very weird looking, feeling thing. It's so strange, but it's amazing, and it's what sustains the baby throughout the whole pregnancy. And you can't believe that this, I was gonna say little thing, but it's not little, it's kind of big. It's a very big, heavy thing. Not very big, but it's just a very interesting thing. But yeah, that we learned about the placenta, we learned about the menstrual cycle, all the hormones involved in like pregnancy and the menstrual cycle as well. So yeah, it was just really good to get into sort of midwifery related science. Still like a lot of learning, and it can get quite overwhelming. So one tip I would give is before every lecture, look over what you're going to learn, because they would have had that available to you anyway, so you know what's coming up. So look over what you're going to learn, look in the textbooks, look at some YouTube videos, you know, Khan Academy, things like that, just especially with anatomy, just to get used to what they're going to teach you, because in lectures it's like, obviously it's not one-on-one teaching, so put your hand up for questions, yes of course, but they don't go into detail about every single thing. You do have to do some extra learning yourself, so it's better to like just look over it before you start the lesson, or day before, just to get your, you know, brain warmed up as to what you're going to be learning, so it's not completely overwhelming. So that's just one good top tip I'd give to you guys. Going into our second month of uni, so we're in May now, so 4 or 5 weeks in, we started to learn about the maternal adaptations of pregnancy, so all the changes to the different systems, digestive system, renal system, cardiovascular system, skeletal system, all the good stuff. So all the sort of changes that happen to them and why those changes take place, and you know, different sort of disorders, minor disorders that can happen in pregnancy. Haven't gotten into the high risk stuff yet, but it was really interesting to learn about like how the body changes to adapt the growing fetus. Very, very interesting, very much cool. The female body is amazing, shout out to God for that one. So yeah, we started to get into the nitty-gritty of the anatomy and physiology, and just learning about how, you know, different changes happen in the body and what causes those changes, so different hormones and things, and it was just really good and interesting to learn about that. We had also different discussions around sex in pregnancy, and you know, the myths about it, and how to empower women to make, you know, informed choices about sex in pregnancy, which was really good. Our lecturer was like super passionate about it, so she made us passionate about it, and just learning about like how to inform these women about what's safe and what's not in pregnancy, because a lot of people don't actually know, and there's a lot of very silly myths that go around about sex in pregnancy, so it's good to be in a position where we can now advise women about that. We also had an introduction into the NMC. So for those of you who don't know what the NMC is, they are the Nursing and Midwifery Council. So they set the standards for all nurses and midwives. They have a code, which I've spoken about in a previous video. So all the standards that we have to adhere to, and we also learned what happens when people break those standards or those codes or conduct. We learned about different cases, and we talked about the Ockenden report. We talked about other reports that have been out about maternity care and what happens, what's the sort of process that happens following those, you know, sort of tragic events. So we also spoke about communication in midwifery and how important that is, and the different ways to communicate, and we learned about how we communicate and how we can, you know, improve our listening and communication skills with patients, with doctors. It's really important in midwifery because you tend to work in a multidisciplinary team, so you work with doctors, with midwives, with anaesthetists, with maternity support workers, and all different kinds of people. So with physios, you work with different people, so it's important to learn how to communicate across those different teams, how to make sure nothing is lost in translation and things like that. So yeah, we had loads of sessions on communication and how we communicate and how we can improve on our communication skills. So going into week 6, we started to learn about antenatal care and all the things that happen in the antenatal process, so abdominal palpations and things like that, and booking appointments and how many appointments they get and how to schedule them. So about week 6, we started to get into antenatal care and learning about the process of antenatal care. So obviously, for those of you who don't know, antenatal care is obviously from the point of conception to labouring. So we learned about abdominal palpations, getting fetal heartbeat. We learned about the booking appointment, so getting a woman's history and all the things that you need to get from a woman before you start, planning for her care. We learned about the different things that sort of are missed. So we did touch on, the statistics about ethnic minorities and how their care is sort of, or has been reported to be different. So it was really good to have those open and honest discussions about, how to treat people as midwives and to treat them not differently than you treat another person because of race or background or things like that. So good important discussions were had, which I was really happy about, and communicating with those people as well, and learning about the different disorders that are more prevalent in certain communities. So like sickle cell is more prevalent in the Black African Caribbean community. So learning about screening, learning about testing, about bloods, so taking full blood counts and hemoglobin levels and all of that stuff. This might sound like complete gibberish to someone who hasn't started their midwifery degree, but it will all make sense. But yeah, I'm just telling you what we've learned about so far. So it's really good to put into practice those things. I'm on placement right now, and those things that I've learned are definitely like coming to life, and it's just good to have them married from the practical to the theory as well. So yeah, all of the antenatal stuff has been really interesting. We also had our first sort of skills day in our simulation center, so we learned about movement and handling, and this is sort of a mandatory thing you have to do before you go into placement. So it's essentially learning how to move patients in an effective way that's good for you and good for the patient and just safe for everyone. So I learned how to use a hoist, I learned how to use a pat slide, so moving one patient from one bed to another, and this is important for a C-section as well, because obviously women are numb from the waist down, so they aren't able to move themselves, so we have to move them from one bed to another. So it was really good to learn about that, just learning about like lifting and loading and handling stuff in a way that is safe for you, so that you don't get any workplace injuries and have to take time off or lose your hours and things like that. So that was a really good informative session. That is a session that is mandatory for everyone, so everyone will have that session, I believe, at every university, so you can look out for that for sure. Going into week 7, we started to get into breastfeeding, and we had talk from the baby friendly initiative. I'm going to link them below because it's a really good helpful thing to look at, and almost every single university will talk about the baby friendly initiative and breastfeeding. We also got like a really useful booklet, I believe they have it online. So yeah, it's just a booklet about breastfeeding and relationship building for mum and baby. So it talks about skin to skin, it talks about why breastfeeding is the best option for your baby, and why we as midwives have a duty to sort of promote breastfeeding, because as you will learn, it is very beneficial compared to formula feeding. I will link the baby friendly initiative in the description box. Do have a look at that if you haven't. Then we got introduced to the RCM. So the RCM is the Royal College of Midwives, and they are sort of a union for midwifery, and they are in support of midwives, of student midwives and maternity support workers. I will link their website below. If you haven't heard of the RCM, then please do go and have a look around at their website. They are an awesome organization for midwives, student midwives and maternity support workers. They have so much information. You can sign up for a membership as well as a student midwife. I believe it's £1 a month, definitely under £5 a month, and you can get like a newsletter, a monthly newsletter, and they just keep you up to date with everything that's going on in the world of midwifery. So that would be really good information for like in your assignments, information for practice, and just really good to keeping you engaged with the world of midwifery just outside of uni. It's really good to keep engaged with the current affairs that are happening. So just before we went on placement, we got our uniforms, so that was a really lovely day. Everyone got their uniforms at the same time, trying it on, making sure it fits and everything. So that was really nice. It's just a normal basic uniform, just cute, but it's just like, oh, like this is so cute now, like we can all come to our skills days in our uniforms and stuff. So that was good. So that was just before we went on to placement, and also before we went on to placement we got our Mora. So if you don't know what a Mora is, it is basically where you record all your skills, all your proficiencies, everything that you do in placement, and that is basically what allows you to qualify as a midwife at the end of your 3 years. It can be quite overwhelming because there's so much to tick off in there, but obviously we all start from somewhere, and I'm only in first year, so you only tick off a few, but it's very exciting to get it. And what they did in my uni, like, they were really helpful in helping us organizing it. So as you can see, I've got like stickers and stuff in there, separating different pages and different sections and things, which was really helpful to like just sort things out and sort my brain out as well. And that's where we are up to. So that was just a quick overview of what's happened, what I've learned, what we've done, what different sessions and things. I hope it was useful to someone, but yeah, that's obviously, it's going to vary from uni to uni. That's how my uni done stuff, so it might not be the template that's going to be for the uni that you're going to, but yeah, it's just a sort of overview of what we've done. But that's the end of the video, guys, and I hope you guys have enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye.